this is some sad news, unfortunately, for Vince Gilligan's series Pluribus on Apple TV Plus and Season 2. So there's a bit of an update here from Hollywood Reporter. Apparently, Apple TV had their big press day, which, was evident from all the articles about Apple shows that came out, like, all on the same day or same, weekend or whatever it was. And so they had this press day where I guess Vince Gilligan was doing a panel or something like that, I think, with Rhea Seehorn. And it does sound a little unfortunate for the status of Season 2 of Pluribus. Not in the way that we're not going to get it. We are going to get it because, it was already renewed for 2 seasons even before they shot, I think, a frame of footage for the show. We are going to get it. It's just when. So here in the article it says, "Attention Pluribus fans, Season 2 is in the works, but don't expect the pit level of swiftness in between seasons." So Vince Gilligan joined his star Rhea Seehorn and members of the ensemble, Caroline Wydra, Carlos Manuel Vesga, for a panel conversation, right? So they were at a panel on, I guess this was this week sometime, right? So naturally, the Emmy Award-winning creator was asked the question everyone is dying to know by a member of the press: where are you currently in the process of writing Pluribus Season 2? And so this is Gilligan's response. "We're plugging away," answered Gilligan. "My writers are plugging away. All the folks, if you like the show, thank you for getting us here on the stage. It takes a long time to come up with these episodes. We are deeper into the process at this moment than I would like, considering how few episodes we have figured out. But it takes some time, just as it did the first season." But he cautioned that there are months to go before they can get in front of cameras. Quote, "We appreciate everybody's patience, but it ain't gonna be the pit coming back every year. I wish it would be because it's an awesome show that's old school like we used to do The X-Files when we come back the same month every year. It will not be like the pit. We'll come back the same month. Just the question is what year." Oh, that quote is really sad. It's really sad to hear that quote. And obviously, I think he's being a little tongue-in-cheek. He doesn't mean that it's, literally for sure going to be, I think the article then says, it debuted in November of 2025, so that probably means it's going to be November of 2027. I think he's obviously being a little, tongue-in-cheek there. I don't think he literally meant the earliest we'll be back is 2027, November. However, it does kind of reinforce the whole fact of, it's not going to be, 2026, probably, right? Like, I think at this point it could be possible. Like, we get it early 2027, because they've already, broke some episodes, it sounds like. They're already, well into writing it. But this is just kind of unfortunate, considering especially considering that they were greenlit for 2 seasons right off the bat, So you would think that they would have time and they would have had the foresight to be able to start working on the second season basically as season 1 was airing. Like, I don't know. That just doesn't make a lot of sense to me that they would have waited, to work on this next season in that way. I don't know. It just, like, especially it's greenlit for 2 seasons right off the bat. It's just a little frustrating, to be honest. To hear this news, I really did think that, we would probably see Season 2 this year. I guess I wasn't, I didn't count on it, but I did really think that. And again, I wouldn't have thought that, though, if it wasn't greenlit for 2 seasons, right off the bat, because it just changes everything. Like, it just changes the fact of, okay, that you're getting the second season, so you could start working on it at, right away. Right after you finish season 1, you could even start working on it. Whereas other shows where you have to wait for the renewal announcement, well, you're not getting paid to work on those next season scripts, right? Until it's renewed, until you are for sure, know that you're going to be making that season, or at least, you probably get paid in some aspects, but you know what I mean, right? So obviously you're not going to have incentive to start working on it until the renewal announcement. And so I get that part, but for a show like this, I don't know. It's just frustrating to me a little bit. It kind of goes along with the same trend of a lot of these shows, even like Severance on Apple, right? It's a great example of, waiting to work on it. And even season 3, I'm not going to talk about it for this one, but I think the article came out this week sometime that John Turturro was talking about how, they're going to go into production on season 3 in July or August, I think he said, or something of this year. Like, this is a show that premiered early 2025, and they still haven't even went to production. Like, not even for 6 more months are they going to go into production for season 3? Now, I mean, even that show, like, I feel like they had a complete overhaul of the writer's room from season 2 to 3, so there's some stuff going on with that as well. I mean, you got to give them some slack for having a whole new team of writers come in and try to, break some of these episodes. But anyways, it's just frustrating. Is it a show that has like a insane cliffhanger at the end of season 1 that I need to see the next season? Like a Severance, that's a great example. No, not really, right? Like, it was a very satisfying ending to the season, but I also do want to see more because I felt like season 1 in some ways was almost like a prologue to the actual show that's really going to get going here in season 2 in the actual main kind of motivation of Carol, the main plot of the series, right, is saving the world, basically, right, where we end off in the finale. So, I just really would have liked to see this a little sooner. But again, season 2 probably is going to be really great, as season 1 was. So I guess it's worth the wait in that aspect. Give them some time, give Vince Gilligan some time to work on these episodes, to get them right, to get them perfect. But yeah, it's just a little frustrating when you see some other shows, being able to do this. And again, I wouldn't, to me, Pluribus and The Pit, not really comparable in terms of, that kind of elevated quality. I think The Pit's still a good show for sure. It's just, I don't know, like Pluribus to me is a little bit of a different level. So I don't really compare the two. I think the article it's a little dishonest to compare The Pit with this and the time frames of stuff. However, it is glaring, right, that you see a show like The Pit being able to do that and Pluribus not being able to do that. And even the other thing is a lot of other Apple shows have been a lot better at being able to push out seasons pretty fast. Your Friends and Neighbors, the John Hamm show, a perfect example of this actually, where I think it was very similar to Pluribus, where they got 2 seasons ordered, or at least they renewed season 2 like before season 1 even came out. And season 2 is premiering in like a couple months from now, right? And season 1 was like early 2025 or mid 2025. So they're going to be able to get that one out within a year. Now, probably less special effects, less extras and all this stuff that Pluribus has, but still, I mean, it's comparable at least. So yeah, very odd news here. I was a little disappointed, to be honest. But yeah, so it sounds like probably the earliest we could see this is, early 2027. Right, I think this is basically confirmation that it's not going to be this year for Pluribus season 2. But I don't know. Again, like I think he's being a bit of a tongue-in-cheek. Like he's saying, the question is what year. I mean, I don't think it's going to be that long. I would say it's probably going to be earlier than November 2027. But I don't know. Maybe I'm have too much faith in it, and maybe he is right. Maybe it'll be 2028, right? I don't know, but we'll see. Anyways, I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on this news. Were you a little disappointed like me when you heard this, that season 2, might be a little longer than we thought? Are you surprised? Maybe not even. So anyways, love to hear your guys' thoughts on this one for sure.